Okay. You almost caught me there because I was actually trying to warm up. I try to do that every morning. But when I have to sit here with you and chat for another 2 hours on Weekend Deal, well, I skipped the one in the house, but I try to still catch up here in the office, which is doing exercise. It's important for both the body, soul, and mind. Welcome to the show. It is Weekend Deal, and I am Elizabeth Abai. Another habit that I have on daily basis is to wake up and go to the news, find out what is happening. But these days I'm beginning to get frightened because each time I open the news blog to read, it is one sad story or the other. A lot of times the human angle, it goes right down to the moral decadence. Yes. It is our focus for today. And I try to look around, I said, across all nations, across all culture, across all religion, across all beings, across all gender, whatever you call it, age, one thing we all hold in common is our morals. But today, the question is deep. Are we still paying the right attention to our morals? Once upon a time, it was said that a fine name is better than a sweet perfume. These days, it seems to be the other way around. We appreciate the perfume and throw away the name that your fathers, your forefathers left for you. Like we say, God forbid, my name will always be good. But we are going to take charge, of all that is happening in the society, get to find out where we went wrong, get to find out what we can do to righten it, get to find out how we can lay the future for our children. Notice I said we because it all concerns all of us. I am involved, you are involved. So let's sit down, have this conversation and move the nation, the society forward. I recall those days we go to school, they ask us, what do you want to be? And we mention all manner of fancy jobs, fancy profession. I want to be, including domestic engineer. Yeah, domestic engineer. I want to be a good housewife because a good housewife will always, always produce good children. It was something we also desire to have. But today, children, ask them what they want to be. I don't want to call names. A whole lot of things. Sometimes they may not even tell you, but looking at them, you know where they're heading to. It's a big question for all of us who are mothers, who are parents. What are we doing? Moral decadence. I mean, it's a very essence of a nation, and we have begun to allow it to eat us up like the cankerworm. All right, don't forget, people say that he who brings in ant-infested faggot should not complain at the visit of a lizard. When you train your child negatively, whatever happens to them in future, you should be there to answer for them while on earth and even when you die. But I am not a preacher this morning. There is someone who can actually do it better than me, and that's Francis Ogbe, as he takes us on the overview. Francis?
Over the years, society has witnessed deterioration in its moral, social, and educational values, especially among youth. However, issue of moral decadence has become a very controversial one because society is developing so rapidly and with advancement in technology. The line between what is morally right or wrong is getting blurring.
Moral is not static. Moral, also vary from community to community. But there are basic minimum standard of conduct expected that makes you a conformist in the society. Anything outside that is objectionable. So they say is immoral. unacceptable. And in most cases, unless in a depraved community, you really will know that you are going beyond the bounds.
The Nigerian society is at a moral crossroads as the country is in a serious moral conflict. Right from the colonial invasion and conquest up to the present day, Nigeria has witnessed progressive degeneration of morality.
Initially, every community was concerned about the behavior of its members. You beat your wife excessively, the community comes around to ensure that there's some peace in your family. So they will choose respected elders of your area to come and talk to you. If you don't take care of your children, the community objects to it, they come around. Why is it that when every other children are in school, your son is playing around? If he needs help, some try to help to ensure that the child is in school. So the communal living we had before helped in bringing up children. So sometimes we get concerned about just making the money and not being concerned about how the children are coming up. Now, you still need to teach them how to greet you good morning. You need to teach them how not to hurt themselves with drugs. In those days, our parents they didn't need to bother much about these things because you won't just go near it. You will find out that the fences we have erected now is also putting us in trouble. Those days, you see a child eating and he's doing that. Maybe in his house, nobody cared. But in our own house, you not come and do that. You just hear a big shout. You wonder what you have done. I'm just eating. No, there's a menu, there's a way of eating. Nobody must hear it. You learn from there. But now, what I see is, behind those big fences, these children are not even exposed to the main house. They hide in one corner, gather guest chalet or their own rooms. If their friends go, everybody in there, and unsupervised. So these children grow up more with what they see on the TV. Now they have the world in their palm. The world that is not a reality at all. That is what they are living their life on. That is the reality to them.
Moral decadence among youth, especially students in primary and secondary school, is almost at crisis point. Recent research studies have shown that higher percentage of secondary school students are engaging in various immoral activities such as cultism, violence, cybercrime, underage sexual activities, and examination malpractice, among others.
There were a lot of things that came together to destroy our moral values. We thought the moment there was money, all problems were solved. So money, and more money, including using your mother for ritual. It's terrible where we are. You can imagine how many cases. It's no longer even news now to say a boy killed girlfriend or girlfriend killed a boy to make. If you fail in building characters, you have built nothing. We need to go back to our natural instinct that says that what is good is good and what is bad is bad. Don't give what you will not take and don't take what you will not give. So social media facilitated the evils, but it has been with us before the social media came. We threw away everything. All you want is, you want to be Dangote, you want to be Otedola.
The decadence is deep, such that family, the very cradle of life, has also ironically become a cradle of rot. With instability in many homes and parents grappling with lack of moral authority themselves, many children are raised without character and integrity.
Parents thought they were making progress, just doing anything at all to get to the top. In some areas now of the country, if you don't go and borrow a big car to go and be visiting the person you want to marry, no show. Even parents, they won't even answer your greetings if you don't look like somebody who is big to come and marry their daughter.
The level of moral decadence in the society today is one that requires concerted efforts of all stakeholders to address.
We got to watch our children. We got to be their friends, communicate with them, open up and discuss with them. Don't just throw money at them. He wants a bag, a school bag. He went and bought a bag of 1.1 million to carry to school. It makes no sense. Build the character, because it is easier to build children than to fix broken adults.
The value system of any society determines the level of its development. Therefore, our focus on Weekend Deal today will be on moral decadence in Nigeria, an emergency.
Well, I am happy, very particularly happy because today we are discussing this, moral decadence, the way we used to do things before. It was quite good. And the man said it all. Money is not love. Yes. There used to be this song, money can buy you love, can buy you happiness. I'm not a singer. Okay, so let me not disgrace myself there because I know that's not my department. But I know one thing, that if we go to Ibadan now, they will be reminding us how we handled things in the past. When we got up and you looked for everybody who was your senior, including 1 day older than you, and you say good morning to the person, and you say it almost genufleeting, yes. We don't stay standing. Where you saw elders, you go out and carry their bags. Whether they were related to you or not, it was mandatory. Otherwise, you'll be disgracing not just yourself, but your family. How did we all change? Ibadan, please answer that question.
The fabric of any society is held together by the standards of morality that we maintain and practice. Values are our personal set of beliefs about what is right, wrong, good, or bad. Promoting good values is vital in any society, as it serves as a foundation on which a society can function effectively. The training of children is regarded as a sole responsibility of parents. Many believe that the task of bringing up a child that will become a good citizen is difficult and must not be left in the hands of the parents alone. Moral values are key components of a person's character. They are personality traits guiding people to make decisions and judgments based on collective and individual experience. In the days of old, handling a child is a combination of parental guidance, school discipline, and society watch.
People value moral and they always want to defend their names and the names of the family, and that has been piloting the moral in the society and among the people.
In the past, when you want to greet your father in the morning, as a male child, you prostrate flat on the floor, and if you are a female child, you kneel down with your 2 legs.
The moral values instilled in the youth during childhood in Nigeria in the past paved the way for all decisions they made in life. As without these values, children do not have any guidance and their life may seem directionless.
Your behavior is traceable to your family. Any ability to do otherwise will bring disgrace to your family. So everybody fears injuring the name of the family.
Respect is the first thing. You must exercise that respect. I remember my cousins, if one of your cousins is a day older than you, you just have to respect that person.
Being aware of values from an early age helps in developing a child's character and forming the very core of their being. Moral values such as kindness, courage, humility, honesty, truthfulness, integrity, respect, hard work, tolerance, compassion, and empathy, among others, are extremely important. In order to promote moral values and work against moral decadence, it is advised that we all go back to the principles as laid down in the early years, and parents should ensure they guide their children aright in order to build a healthy society.
Okay, I don't need to add anything to that because it's quite detailed. It's important that we begin to do the right things because it's often said that as we lay our bed, so we lie on it. The truth is, if you want your child to begin to respect you, that child will definitely do that if you show that child how to go about it. When your child wakes up in the morning and greets only you and you're adults in the house, he doesn't greet the adults, and you don't scold him, you don't tell him what to do. The truth is that child will begin to, at a point, see you as any other person that he or she will not greet. The role of parents, it's very important in any child upbringing. And Tete actually went deep to find out what the parents should be doing and why are they not doing it. Tete, let's join you at this point.
It is no longer news that our society is slowly drowning in a cesspool of decadence and further magnified with the help of new media. From visual obscenities to verbal vulgarity and defiance. All these have been subtly accepted in the name of being liberal and expressive in the new age. But it has grown into a problem because children, the most impressionable group in our society, have imbibed so many negative values that it has become an issue of serious concern. Some will say it is due to evolutionary change, while some will beg to differ.
There are things that never change. They are called natural, or what we call spiritual values and virtues. They haven't changed. And so discipline hasn't changed. Integrity hasn't changed. Love hasn't changed. You know, some of these indicators and indices, they haven't changed. What has changed and what has brought a lot of confusion to the narrative in today's parenting and people and in the way we attend to things has to do with methodology. The core principle hasn't changed, but how you attend to them and apply them will keep changing. And so this is where you see that people today do not understand that even though there was no much of warmth, love, appreciation, as it were back then, but there was discipline, there was integrity and all of that, as against what we have today, it has to do with what is transferred. Before now, parents did their responsibility. They were not there to attend to them. But today, our parents today are very confused because it is how these things are applied.
So many parents nowadays seem to overguard their children and shield them from the outside world, hence encouraging them to stay indoors and alienate them from the immediate community. But there is an old saying that goes, it takes a village to raise a child.
We need that communal bond and love, you know, and responsibility that we have to see. If I'm walking outside and we see children, we have to go back to how it was again. We must be able to embrace our community as a family. When you hear something happening outside, you don't keep quiet and run into your home and hold to your family. When you see children misbehaving outside, you don't say, oh, they're not my children, no. Because that child, those effects of things, that child that is being raised by that family might fall in love with your daughter or your son. That child you're not taking care of, you can call the child Almajiri or whatever. You'll be shocked. That child can fall in love because we live in what? We live in a global village.
Another major challenge for the modern millennial parent is the fact that both parents are so busy with their career and desperately trying to provide for the family that they employ other means to train, guide, and sometimes distract their children, which does more harm than good. Some parents, on the other hand, try to overcompensate for what they lacked growing up or for their experiences while they were young, and they end up spoiling their children.
Those who are confused today, they think that by giving your children everything, it means love. No, it is the worst case scenario that we have seen, where everything is provided for the children. You're spoiling them in the name of loving them. And by the time they leave home, because that embracement of discipline is not instilled, they think that what they see at home is what they see outside. So you can see the difference now. Before now, the discipline they see outside, they replicate it to their bosses, they replicate it in school, they replicate it in government offices. But the way we teach our children today in our homes, that lawlessness, they wake up anytime they want, they do just what they want, they throw tantrum, and then we feel cool that we have children, and we even take pride in our spoiled children. Any wonder we have the kind of government we have? Any wonder we have the kind of schools we have? Any wonder we have the kind of society we have?
The key point is understanding that while the core principles, values, and virtues of parenting are the same, its application in this day and age is very important and therefore has to be different and constantly upgraded.
Well, the more I delve into this conversation, the more I get my spirit dampened because I don't know where we all got it wrong, but I think the psychologists will tell you that the mind of a child is plain, what they call tabula rasa. It is us, all of us, parent society, that begin to write on it. My growing up days, I don't know how many people enjoy that. We had lots of people. We had lots of mothers. We had lots of mummies. We had lots of aunties. Sometimes we lose count. And all of these people were there to give us both the carrot and, of course, the cane when we go wrong or when we do well. It was always, good to run back to that uncle. Oh, I passed my exam. They give you 1 kobo here, 2 kobo here. Before you know it, you're becoming that small bank of yours. All right, so let's join our guests this morning who will be helping us correct the issues we've raised, who will be helping us, to speak to the very young. He is a counselor. He is specialized with the area of youth and teen, and he is known as Mr. Charles Agboehi. It's nice having you on the show.
Thank you so much.
Okay, with your exuberance, I'm sure any child will want to warm up to you to open up and tell you their problems. And I would like to know, really, when you speak to these people, what is boggling them? What is their major issues? Because sometimes we parents do not know it.
Yeah, the problem is actually that this is disjuncture between the children and their parents. They are living in the same house, but living as strangers.
Wow.
Parents nowadays do not know their children at all. All of the things you have wrote through the television, all the interviews, they've said so much, and that's exactly what is happening. Just like you said, when we were growing up, it was a communal life. Somebody is speaking to you outside your parents and somebody noticed something, but we are living in gated houses. Mm-hmm. We are confined now, and our children are only interacting with their phones and their televisions, not with their parents. Nowadays, parents do not have interaction with their children. So the children will not understand the moral values at all. They don't even know it. So there will be decadence.
You talked about conversation, and I'd like to know, what is the problem, with the parents? Because we always talk, we say communicate, 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 and the parents will tell you they're communicating, but you're telling me is instruction now. How do parents begin to have a conversation with their children?
Okay, fine. Creating time with them. If you that will be able to mold them and guide them and give them true and correct answers will not have time for them, they will tend to look for
answers elsewhere.
Yes, someone else. And most of the time is their peer group who also know next to nothing, that will tend to find solution to the question that is in their heart, and they are misguided.
Children tend to go to their friends whose parents are always absent because their home becomes the workshop for them to practice a whole lot of things. But let's join ETV, like I promoted earlier, get to find out the effects of peer pressure on the child.
Ethics in business is just as important as ethics in personal life. On a daily basis, ethics guide us to make the world a better place through the choices we make. Over the years, society has witnessed a tremendous drift in its moral, social, and educational values, especially among the youths. However, the issue of moral decadence in our society has become a very controversial one because there seems to be a very thin line between what is right or wrong. What then is the cause of moral decadence?
At the point where we are now, if we're talking about peer pressure, we're talking about parental involvement in raising the child, the school where the child goes, attends, and spends many hours of the day with. The church where the child, or the mosque where the child attends, everyone is a stakeholder in raising this wholesome child. But it is the home that creates that template. It is the parents that create that template. Most times what we see schools do is to build on what the parents have, or the template that the parent has already provided.
Peer pressure influence is inevitable as children grow up. They are so much in touch with their friends, especially from secondary school to tertiary level. During this period, they pick up habits from one another. These habits may be of positive or negative influence on them. Some stated that in a society where more attention is given on making it success however it comes, the pressure on the youth to belong to find their place in the group of those who are making it or where it's happening. This leads them into society occultic practices, robbery. These are influences of peer pressure.
Negative influence of peer groups on children. Children will tend to behave like their mates. They want to dress like them. They want to have what their mates have. Now, for instance, when the parents don't have, what do? They can steal. They can lie. They can do anything in order to be like their mates.
It is important to state that the duty of upholding moral standards in children rests first and foremost, but not limited to parents. A well-trained child from home is unlikely to fall for negative peer pressure.
All of us as parents must go back to the drawing board. We must come back to the understanding that the child is a priority. This child didn't beg to be born. So if we must produce or present a wholesome child, there must be a parent who is involved in the life of the child.
This is therefore another clarion call to all parents, teachers, and other stakeholders in the upbringing of children. We must save our children from the declining morals in our society and bring them up in the way they should go. For what is bad is bad.
Recently, I was going through status of some young people. Incidentally, one of them who was just bereaved was really bragging over the burial of the father, the number of people that came, how they are going to bury in gold and silver and all of that. And I was really irked because there are things that are supposed to be, with solemn treatment. You lost your parents who are not really that aged. You should be solemn about it. You should be mournful about it. And these days we hit the social media with all of that. But taking us back to the video we watched, I'm thinking, is there a way of all of us beginning to, make threats to the parents, even if it's arrests? If they are not okay, we put them in the mental home, because no parents who does that should be okay. We put them in a mental home, but if you are okay and deliberately trying to, raise money through viewership of their spoiled children, we arrest them and get them penalized. How can we do that?
Our laws, are they really working? The people that are in charge of our laws, they are part of the decayed society we are talking about. Can they really do that? But that really would have been the best to see that people are penalized, then someone will not want to try it again, because when you know that part of the reasons why we were brought up well was because anybody in your village or town could see you doing wrong thing and pick you and cane you.
Oh man, we had people we call different names, teacher, devil.
Yes, that's right. We just give them names. Yes, they take you to the teacher. He will flog you, and your head will be, there will be a reset. Now, someone was saying one time, he said that the problem of this nation is not corruption, because he believes that if people are punished for it, then they will not want to do it again. That the problem is actually that people do things and get away with it. So that is exactly, I'm trying to narrow it down to your question. People are doing all of these things, doing nonsense skits that does not have
that does not add good value, and they are pushing it. And nobody is punishing them for it, and nobody is being punished for it. The video you showed is absolutely against God and against man. A little child.
I'm sure even the devil will not be happy.
Will not be happy. Then there is no way we cannot get this person. The person should be arrested, prosecuted, and know that this is child abuse. So the way to do it is to dust our laws, bring out the laws that talk about child abuse, and let everybody begin to run with it and begin to support it.
Yes. All right, now you talked about punishment, and we begin to, wonder what happened to punishments in our society. In the past, I always heard about something, what they say? They say, no matter how tall the okra plant grows, it can never grow taller than the owner. And then my mother, who was incidentally shorter than I am, because I know I'm not a tall person, would tell you, if you make noise and you think you're taller than I am, I will carry my kitchen stool, stand on it, and knock you down.
Or even ask you to bring down your head and knock you.
You bend down to collect the knock. That's the truth.
That's right.
But then, here, spare the rod, spoil the child. I don't know what happened to it. But Ene, do you know? Tell us.
Moral decadence hitting an all-time low is an ill wind that blows and brings no good. As time evolves, things change. Where did we get it wrong?
I've gotten it wrong in so many ways, in so many aspects. In the family, in our worship centers, in the school, and even in the society at large. Parents these days don't have time for their children any longer. They leave their children in the hands of caregivers, which is causing a lot of harm to the society.
In Nigeria, a lot has happened in 2022. Teenagers committing crimes such as ritual killings to get money, increase in robberies by children, to rapes and sexual molestation amongst Nigerian youths, just to mention a few. All these have tipped the scale of reference. Some will say the internet and social media caused it. For some, it's the society and institutions. However you choose to apportion blame, the bulk of teaching, training, nurturing, and grooming any child lies on the parents.
You see children of 8 years, 5 years with Android phone. And where did they get these phones from? Their parents bought the phones for them. Teenagers have access to phone. It's being bought by their parents. It's just a few of them that maybe you say they bought it and their parents don't know. Most of these children, these phones are bought by their parents. These children have access to sites that even you, the parents, do not know how to operate those sites.
Do parents still punish their children when they err? Has it become a case of spare the rod and spoil the child? Does it not stand anymore as a pioneer mode of instilling discipline in children? Do we as parents pat them on the back when they err, all in the name of love? Remember, the teeth that a dog uses to bite her puppies is the same teeth she uses to love them. When the two are not balanced, then we're doing ourselves a great disservice.
Then when it comes to discipline, we are not just we are not referring to beating a child to stupor. No. You will spank, you will beat when you're supposed to beat, then you correct when you're supposed to correct. As a matter of fact, we have a system where we use merits and demerits. Demerits are for those negative attributes that the child exhibits. Then merits are for those positive attributes, those positive traits that you find in the child.
Without doubt, our children are our legacy, the hope of tomorrow, our pride. For you, would you spare the rod and ruin the child? The choice is in your hands.
All right, spare the rod and spoil the child. Well, I don't know what happens in most homes, but I know that in my own home, if you tell one lie, you get 10 beatings. And growing up, I don't know if you had the same experience. Your parents will tell you, you're owing me. And you think you're owing money. You're actually owing cane.
Yes.
So because mommy, daddy was still very busy, so they won't get to give you that cane. And you think they've forgotten.
No.
9 p.m.
Yes.
When it's time to sleep, they will call you, what is your name again? Emeka, come.
At times when you are already sleeping, they
Yes.
come to the
Yes, that's when the one you dodge do. You didn't
Yes.
admit that you're owing, you dodge, they come in, the cake goes like that.
That's right.
But if you are accepted, 9 p.m., probably they've shut down, then they call you, Emeka, come, you wake up with sleepy. Remember you're owing me, lie down, you collect your cane
That's
peacefully.
right. Yes.
It was like that. How did we stop caning? Is it that, did the cane kill you? I don't know.
No. You see, that word, spare the rod, spoil the child. When I'm talking to parents, I take it, the other way. Spoil the child, spare the rod. And I ask you, between the rod and the child, which is of more value? Which one do you value? So that's where it comes from.
In most homes, there's no rod even.
Yes, I
All the
know,
rods
but
have
let's
disappeared.
even use that okay, maybe the cane, the rod could be the words of interaction, or the word of God is described as the rod too. Maybe not the cane, but the cane is also accessible and it's good to use it. Now, where for me, if you value the rod more than the child, then spare the rod and allow the child to spoil. But if you know that you value the child more than the rod, then spoil the rod and spare the child. So if you get it that way, then you will now understand that you need to actually spoil the rod so that the child will not spoil. So just take it like that. If I spare the rod, my child will spoil. If I spoil the rod, my child will be spared.
Mm-hmm.
So you rather spoil the rod to spare your child, or you spare the rod or spoil your child.
A lot of times we talk about sparing rod and all of that as corporal beatings and all of that. What are the other ways, you can punish a child without necessarily giving physical beating? And is it every offense that deserves physical beating?
No, not. Now, you need to understand your child. I'm not saying your children. Get that word, your child. It is said that train up a child the way he should go.
Mm-hmm.
The word that said that, the good book that said that, expect us to have children. Why will it say train up a child? Because each of our children
is individual.
Yes, individual. They are different. So understand this child and understand child A, B differently. Understand them alongside their makeup. I once interacted with parents. He said that she has 4 children. All of them, three of them, once they see the cane, they are jittering and crying. But there was this one, a girl.
A girl?
Yes.
Wow.
She will just fold her hand, then you will cane her from now till tomorrow, and she won't cry, she will walk away. So she went and began to ask, what should I do to correct this child? It means this rod cannot correct her.
This rod cannot rot.
Yes, it will not do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Then she heard the word pick pen. Is it pick up pen or what they call it? This one,
pin.
Pick pin rather, pick pin. Oh, it was like a pick pin. Then the next time she misbehaved, said, come, pick pin. She was crying and rolling, said, pick pin. After she did that, she said, Mommy, I won't misbehave again. So whenever she wants to misbehave, she said, do you want to pick pin? She said, no. She would just... So she discovered that for that particular child, there was something that was going to help her correct her. And that's what she used.
And that's why knowing your child is important.
You must know
the child
them individually. They are different.
There are some children, if you just tell them to stop talking, you have caused a punishment.
If you don't interact with them, you won't know them.
Yes.
So you interact with them just for... I go to the boys' room, I just lie down, fall on them, we'll be gisting and talking into the night and whatever. And as we are talking, I'm feeling their pulse. I'm understanding some things. I am taking note. then I may not say anything that day. Some other day I will just say, okay, come, guy, come, let's drive out. Then I will bring out those salient things, and you see that he's talking, and we are talking. And say, Dad, how did you know these things? I say, guy, I don't do them personal, you know. So, and we just rove, and we become. If you are not your children's best friend, as a parent, you have lost them.
That's the beginning part of you sowing the wrong seed. Be your child's friend if you must put in the right morals in them. And if you don't have morals as a parent, that's also a big deal. But we'll look at that later. For now, let's take a break. When we come back, the show continues. But I will not do that until I've said thank you to you for coming on the show.
Thank you so much.
I wish I could keep you on and on and on and on, and then have a lovely conversation.
I'm grateful.
Okay, so when you go, this is my chop knuckle to the boys.
Thank you.
Okay, when next you roll, we give it to them.
All right.
We'll take that break now. All right, we can deal from the Nigerian Television Authority, and a lot of messages are coming in here. Let's see if we can take some before we, continue with some packages. This one says, the problem we have in our community is parents. Even in your homes, the younger ones are doing something wrong, and the mothers will say, why are you disturbing the younger ones? Okay, for example, your child is doing the wrong thing and police arrest your son with gun, and the mother calls a lawyer. Tell me what will happen tomorrow. Okay, it's a good question. The truth is, if your child is caught doing wrong thing, allow law to take action. Good morning. All I think is, this is one of the best programs I've listened to or watched. Thank you. The problem of the children are from the homes. If the foundation is faulty, what can the righteous one do? Way out, let the parents be in unity with their children and bring them up well. It is not all about feeding. Create time for them. Discipline them. Yes. And that's Apostle Gabriel Akor Yusuf from Abuja. So parents that will say, I've paid your school fees, I provide this, there's food on the table. Please eat the food on the table with your child. Good morning, NTA. And Mr. Charles Agbo is right in the area of the boy only meeting his dad on Saturdays. He's even lucky. What happens to a child that only sees his father on large frames hanging on the wall? Wow, this is sad. Our parents gave us a whole lot, but it's quite unfortunate. We have nothing to give to our children. This is Ugo Otumbadi from Imo State. It's real. Some parents just go for a very long time, and their impact is not felt at all by the children. It's sad. Okay, let's see. This episode should continue. The best program ever. We must keep it up. Your guest is a wonderful man. That's Mr. Charles. The immorality is alarming. This is from Issa Rayfield. That's from Jos. All right, and let's quickly take a little bit more and see what this person says. Family altar should be the way to go. Since my children were born till date, we have not ceased to study the Word of God. We pray together each day. It is must do. We can't grow above the Word of God. Put the fear of God in them, and the life, leave the rest to God. Yes, let us go back to the family altar, period. Reverend Udo says. All right, he's insisting that we must continue to pray and pray and pray. All right, I don't know. This one says hi, and we love your program. Please talk to the parents and ensure that they do the right things. Parents should stop covering up for their children. Why would somebody even want to do that? Why would we want to do that? If your child does something wrong, cane. Those days we used to be scared of our parents, especially our mom. Whatever you do, she will flog you. Her own cane is small, shower. When daddy comes back, they are going to still give you another one. The caning is always double. So try as much as possible not to cover your child. At the end of the day, if the child grows well, it's still your own benefits. All right, educationists will be taking it off from me, Dr. Raf. We had this lovely interview. Actually, Thelma did it for us, and let's just play it back for you right away.
Many of our young people attend schools, either they're in primary school, secondary school, or they're in tertiary institutions. And Dr. Ralph Otobo Obo will tell us more in that regard. He is an educational consultant and he manages many schools involving primary, secondary, and tertiary institutions. It's great to have you on Weekend Dale.
Thank you.
Let's journey back a little. What can be the cause of this? If all hands are on deck from the home, all hands are on deck in the school, then why is this happening?
Raising up a kid is the responsibility of the home first and foremost. The primary responsibility of the family. And then they move to the school. The school is the second reference point. And from the school, they move to the society. These are the tripod stands of how to raise children morally. The church and the other worship centers are just side. But we must look at where this thing is coming from. The root, the genesis of this moral decadence. Has it been like this in the 60s, in the 70s? No.
Even in the 80s.
Even in the
and
80s.
The 90s.
And in the 90s.
I went to school in the 90s.
Thank you. So we must now find out what is the root cause of this moral decadence in the school.
What do you now do in the schools? Because if somebody has a bad habit, it won't hide.
Yes.
If somebody is influencing their friends and their peers,
Yeah.
it won't hide. It's obvious.
Yeah.
Are you saying that when they come to school, they shed that a facade and they become very good children? How long can a child pretend?
Good character, good moral is difficult to imbibe. The negative one are so easy to imbibe. And once that has been done from the home, the school is helpless. When you get to the house, you see parents watching BB Niger, and the kids are there with them, and they see naked girls and so many terrible things happening at home till 11 p.m. The parents don't bother about what happened to the children. And then when the kid is coming to school, he comes with 2 clothes. What do? He will wear the good one in the school. And the school looks at the kid, yes, it's an innocent child. But a lot of damages has been done from the home. Remember, the school is also a product of the society. This is what the society has shown over the year. The issue of technology. Tell me, how do you get an iPhone for a kid at the age of 10? Was it gotten from the school? It's from the house.
When you find that they've already come into your environment with bad habits, what do you do as a manager of schools?
Yes, to a large extent, the school plays so much roles. Let me tell you, in our schools, once you get to school with any kind of format, we'll seize it. But to be frank with you, several times, you see parents coming to confront to the school. What is your business with my daughter's phone? What is your business? I only brought her for you to teach. I bought the phone for her. I did this. The school is helpless because of what has happened from the home.
When we were growing up, some of our parents felt that boarding house was more favorable to shape our character than being day students. But what do you find today?
Remember, when they are in the boarding, they are only being molded by one group, the school. For day, they are being molded by 2 groups, the family and the school. And you know 2 heads are better than 1.
We hear a lot about peer pressure because sometimes some parents will do their work from home, and when their children come to school, there will be an influence. So much so that some kids are not strong. They will be influenced. How do you manage situations like that? To an extent where some children are forced to be a part of something that they were not trained from home to do.
Yeah, naturally the forces of peer pressure is strong in the school. That's quite correct. But then something is also there. The parents should monitor the friends of their kids. Every concerned parent should know who is the closest friend to your kids. Should you ask my children, who are your friends? Why did you choose them? The truth is that the school responsibility, 80%, is to teach the curriculum. Do you understand? 80% of our responsibility and duty as a school is to teach the curriculum. We had assumed that the parents must have done their homework. I mean, they should. The issue is, let your kid knows how to open up with you. Have frank discussion, honest discussion with your kid right from age 3, 4, 5. They should be able to open up. Mommy, this is my closest person, my friend in the school. And when your kid calls for your attention, please respond promptly. We've had situations when kids, they have issues in their school. They will call their parents. Parents say, no, don't worry. You don't know what your child is passing through in the school. You need to work hand in hand with the school management. Who is the best friend to your kids in the school? And you don't know? Yes, we have counselors in the school. We monitor the children's movement. We know that all the kids, they are not the same morally. They have challenges. And their parents will even tell us, please, you need to be very hard on my kid. Is this, is that? So we know that they have not done their homework. And the school will have to take over that. But there is a limit to which we can go. We need to partner with the family, with the parents, to help us in this issue.
We need to bring in what is called, in quote, modern technology, not machines. The modern tech is here in the head of the teacher. Yeah. The modern tech is here in the head of the guardian's counselor. Yes. So the way you address issues also plays a big role in how the children turn out. Yeah. How do you discipline children when they err?
Just like you rightly said, in this era, it is not Cain that is the answer to everything. The kids are not animals. In our days, Cain, the headmaster is coming to school with 4 or 5 kids. You remember? The teachers are coming. So the fear of the teacher is the beginning
of wisdom.
But times have changed.
Are you saying that students don't respect their teachers anymore?
No, that is what I'm trying to tell you. There is a frank way of discussing with children now. Want the teachers and the children to relate openly. You don't need to carry a cane for a teacher. You don't need to carry a cane for a child to fear you or to respect you. I've told my teachers, there's a relationship we build with the kids. They know when you are serious. And they know when it is playtime. But must you use cane to explain this? Let them feel free to open up to you. There's a level of discipline of the teacher. We have teachers, once they walk to the class, the whole class is calm. Without cane.
So when we spare the rod, we're not spoiling the child?
No, you bring the child to an understanding. And these childs are very intelligent. There are those who made up their mind. If you like, cane me 20 times. It doesn't make any change on me. But love, honesty, good conversation with the kids as a teacher, they will open up to you. Not with cane. Necessarily not with cane.
On that note, we wrap up our conversation. Dr. Ralph Otobo Odo, educational consultant and manager of schools. Thank you for this chat.
It's an honor.
It's interesting, listening to that man. I kept, a whole lot of things were going on in my head. They often say that a child is not your child. A child is a child of all, and that means that it's behoves on all of us to correct children, and parents should actually open up and let their children be corrected by strangers, because a lot of times we find out, we tell the child, please don't do this, and the mother says, what's your problem? Just like the man said, I brought my child to the school to learn book. It's not your business to tell the child not to carry phone, or to carry phone, or how much phone the child should carry. I think some of these things we should spell it even before the child gets to school, so that parents begin to know it. I remember back then when my children went to University of Ilori, I was given a manual of what they should wear and what they should not wear. It actually made a lot of sense to me. But then, let's relax a little bit, get to find out what is happening in the comedy world. And I leave that to Akoni and Wale. That's the trending videos.
I'm done. You are done what? If you eat chicken like this in Africa, they will beat you. This is how to eat chicken. You break all the bones. You hear me? Now, you are done. Come to the plate.
Oh my God, are you cannibal?
Come over here.
Jesus! Jesus! Jesus!
He shot you.
Good morning. Oh, good morning.
Take care of your children. Ciao, ciao.